What is up with the Harley Davidson DConnect app? Catch you inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're enjoying the channel and the series of videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave those comments below. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com. So in this video, I'm talking about the DConnect app for Harley Davidsons of 2020. Now, what is the issue with them? Is there something that you need to be concerned about? And also, are they indeed worth it? Now, the DConnect app enables a rider to remotely access certain individual aspects or data from the ECM, the electronic control module. This is only available on certain models, and it's on the Taurus, it's on the CVOs, and it's on the Livewire. It is not on the Softails. Now, for the 2020 models, Harley Davidson have installed a telematics communications unit, or a TCU. Now, essentially, this is a module that allows connection or an interface from your ECM electronic control module to an app on your smartphone. Now, it's very self-explanatory how you actually connect up your smartphone app to your motorcycle data. It's all on the Harley Davidson website. Essentially, you download the app, the DConnect app, to your smartphone. Then you go online to Harley Davidson and you create an account. Then you register your motorcycle VIN number, and then you upload that VIN number to the Harley Davidson app. Then you switch on your motorcycle, you pair the smartphone to the motorcycle, bish bash bosh, and you've got all the data. Now, what does it actually give the rider? If you're away from the motorcycle, it can give you data of whether the motorcycle's being interfered with. It also gives tracking data as well. So let's say if somebody steals your motorcycle, you'll get alerted on your mobile phone, and then you can call the police and say, look, my motorcycle is in XYZ location. Please go and get it and arrest all those bad people. So that's actually quite a nice feature. The other features aren't so groundbreaking in my opinion. What you can do, depends if it's electric bike or conventional bike, internal combustion engine, or the ICE as they like to call it, the ICE. You can gather data on fuel, how much fuel you've got on board. What the electrical charge is for a live wire, for example. You could also look at tyre pressure monitoring if you've got a Tourer with that on board. You can have battery voltage. So there are certain bits of data that you can access. Now, a lot of this data, let's say, you would have readily on your motorcycle in the infotainment system whilst you're riding the motorcycle. Indeed, if you have an upstage on your motorcycle and you're using something like an FP3 tuner, then you can have the FP3 tuner app on your mobile phone. You can put that in a bracket and you can have a lot of this data, in fact more data on that than on the DConnect, and you'll be riding along and it's all there in front of you. So what is the real benefit of a DConnect app? Well, they will tell you that, you're away from your motorcycle, and if you have to plan a ride, that you can quickly check the fuel levels and the tyre pressures, so on and so forth. Well, that's not exactly groundbreaking, as I said before. Basically, all you need to do is just walk over to your motorcycle and see how much fuel you got. And even if you are planning a trip, you're going to have to refuel it anyway, so just go and refuel it. In terms of battery charge, well, do you really need an app to tell you that? Maybe you just need to keep your battery in check. Maybe put it on a battery charger or a tender or trickle charger, as we like to call it over here in the UK. But that's about it. So would you really need it? Now, this also, we have to say, is a subscription service only. So you would have to pay an annual fee. Now, the first year is absolutely free. It comes gratis or complimentary with the motorcycle, with the TCU already on board. If you don't if you don't want to pay for it afterwards, then you don't have to pay for it. However, there are various profiles or payment plans which you can afford or which you can pay to have this HD Connect service. Now, I think it starts off at about 115 pounds, dollars, shekels, or whatever it is. So and then it depends on how many years service you buy. The question has been asked, and thank you to Peter who actually asked this question. They said, what are they actually doing with the data? And does this data affect the warranty on your motorcycle, especially if you have any upstaging work? Well, I actually put this to Harley Davidson themselves, and I asked them a whole series of questions about warranties and also about upstaging and how that affects the HD Connect and what actual data they're using. Strangely enough, they didn't come back to me after numerous attempts at trying to contact them, which I also find quite interesting. Now, there have been various reports from certain 2020 owners who've already come into issues with this HD Connect. One of the big issues is there's already been a recall and a software upgrade that's been implemented. That's not unusual in itself, because any computer, for example, would always require some kind of software upgrade. So you'll get alerted by it, and then you would normally have to take it into the dealership, a quick 5-10 minute process. They hook it up to their machine, and it's all sorted. So that in itself isn't an issue. The issue is that a lot of riders, or I should rephrase that, some riders have contacted their dealership to say what is going on with this upgrade that's required. I'm not getting all the data, on my app, so on and so forth. And there hasn't been a lot of information coming back in the opposite direction. From the dealership or from the technicians. In fact, it seems some dealerships, and this is not all, of course, I must stress this, but some dealerships have not really been fully apprised of the HD Connect service from Harley Davidson. They're not 100% sure what it does, what data it collects, and how it affects warranties in the long term. Now, obviously, warranty is another separate issue, and I'll be making another video on that shortly. But what we've got to understand here is that the HD Connect will gather your data from the ECM, and then that will be sent to the HD Connect data department, if you will. They will keep all that information. It also stores information about your service intervals, so it'll give you a heads up on when you need to have your bike serviced, which many people will say, well, I know what my mileage is, I know when I need my bike serviced. It's not a big deal. It also enables you to recalculate your suspension settings based upon the weight. Well, most people, wouldn't normally do that anyway. It's a nice thing to have, don't get me wrong, but do you actually really need it? A lot of this information, say, you can already get on the infotainment systems on board the motorcycle whilst you're riding it. So the arguments say, well, you can have this on the on your app on your phone whilst you're riding it. Well, actually, a lot of this should already be on the infotainment system. If you're just using an FP3 tuner, for example, you can have all this information, well, a lot of information, let's say, about your motorcycle on your phone as well. So that's whilst you're on the bike. So there isn't really any advantage there. Off the bike, if you really want to have all that information, I suppose you can. It's nice. There is a nice little feature where you can locate the nearest petrol station or electrical charge station for your motorcycle, and that might be quite interesting, especially for live wire owners in the future. But let's face it, most live wire owners aren't going to be riding cross country. They're going to be really local, and they're either going to have a home charging station when that's all sorted out, or they're going to go to the dealership that they've got it from, and they're going to have the charge point there. So what is the point of the HD Connect app? And the question, I don't really think they have an answer to it. Or the question has been posed, and lots of people are asking, well, give us an answer. Why do we need this? Because many riders are already saying, I'm not going to pay for that. Yeah, I'll have it for free for a year, but I'm not going to pay for that. Why should I pay for that? And it's a very sound argument, actually. I don't think Harley have made a really good case here. Now, if you look into the fine detail of their data collection and data protection, it all comes down to what they would call providing a better service or better interface with the customer, gathering more data, helping Harley to produce and deliver a better product. Essentially, they're gathering data on you, on your motorcycle, on how it's being ridden. Now, they're not telling you exactly what other data they're getting. So this asks the question, if you do performance upgrades, upstaging on your motorcycle, will that affect any potential warranties? Where must the work be done? Now, this also depends on whether it's Harley approved work or whether it's some other manufacturers. You might get a dealership warranty, but all of a sudden nobody's answering the question. Now they have real-time information about your motorcycle, what's being used. So let's say, for example, I'm not suggesting anybody does this whatsoever, but let's say that you wanted to do an upstage or change the muffler or air filter, air cleaner on your motorcycle, and just before it goes back into a service, you're going to say, right, I'm going to change everything back to stock. There we go. Or let's say you've had your bike for a couple of years and you're going to take it, trade it in back to the dealer or whatever, and you're going to change everything back to stock. Now, the dealership and Harley Davidson, by the virtue of this DConnect, will know that you've been running that motorcycle non-standard for 2 years, for example. That may affect the value, that may affect the warranty. Nobody's saying to me that this isn't the case. I've sent them numerous emails. They haven't come back to me. I've asked at dealerships. Nobody really seems to know. I've done some research in lots of different places. Nobody seems to know. Everybody has suspicions. Nobody seems to know for sure. So this is an interesting thing about the DConnect. Do you really need it? Is it a service that they're suggesting that it's for the benefit of the rider and for the interface and for the customer satisfaction? Or is it really just to gather more data about you and your riding and your motorcycle? I would think that this is another way for Harley Davidson, for a manufacturer, to gather more data about you and your riding. Now, obviously, this is entirely up to you whether you have this on your motorcycle or not. And it's also purely voluntary whether you pay for it or not after the first year. So I would say don't, if you're not sure about this, don't have it on your motorcycle or don't subscribe to it, don't connect to it. So there isn't that issue. In fact, if you are really that concerned, you may want to consider making sure with your dealership that the module, the TCU, is not even on your motorcycle or that it's not connected. Or you may want to have it removed. That's something that you have to make that decision yourselves. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about the telematics communication unit, the TCU, and this DConnect, and the data that Harley Davidson are getting from it. Is it a good thing? Can it be used for good? Can it be used to improve the product delivery to the customers? Or are you thinking, well, actually this sounds very dubious and we're not really sure? The problem with anything like this, if it's a brand new technology or brand new product to any customer, it's always going to have teething problems. So this upgrade that they've had and the recall that they had on the units, well, that's something that we have to expect. So there's nothing really to be concerned about it in that respect. However, the lack of information that Harley Davidson are providing to not only the dealerships, it would appear, but also to the end user, the customer, you and I, is quite concerning. Yes, they're giving us little tidbits of information. Yes, you can access your fuel, your battery charge, the security system, where the nearest gas station is, what your service intervals are, to calculate your suspension settings. But that isn't actually a lot of information. No matter how much they try to tell you, that it's a good thing to have. It isn't really a lot of information. So what other information are they gathering? And until they make that perfectly clear and what they're going to do with that information, that's something you need to be aware of. They also need to look at whether the TCU and whether the implementation of the DConnect is going to be mandatory in coming years, and whether that's going to affect the warranty or not. So that's something to watch out for. But as I say, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this TCU, of this DConnect. Is it worth it? Are you going to pay for it? Don't you mind if your data is being used? Personally, I'm not so concerned about that because we all give over our personal data in one form or another to all manufacturers. Anytime we buy a product, some kind of data transfer always occurs. I am more concerned about the lack of clarity of the DConnect and also the data that they're using and what they may use that data for in the future. Will it affect warranties? Will it affect your ability to make claims after the warranty period for any product or any component on the motorcycle that fails? These are all questions I asked. We never got an answer. So let's see if we ever do. But say, leave those comments below. And well, if you are a tour rider or a Livewire rider or a CVO rider, and you've got the DConnect, let us know. Give us more information. Let us know what your thoughts are on it and what you found out about your dealership as awareness and knowledge of it. And are they able to give you that extra confidence in this service as well? But anyway, please like, share, subscribe, leave those comments below. As I say, check out the website RevelatorAlf.com, and I will catch you again on the next video. Ta-da now.
RevelatorAlf.